So we will call the meeting to order. If everyone will please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Never I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This board will convene to closed session tonight to consider the employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation plan over employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility under Wisconsin statutes 19.85, 19.85, Brand 1 and Brand C. We don't have any community comments here tonight, so is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion is carried. It includes this donation of specialty tables valued at $22,000. Do we know who those came from, or
So,
will it be used?
yes, thank you, Lisa. So we have a new staff member, and I am still learning names. Ann Globaki has a connection to the school specialty store, and the school specialty store had 5 tables that are high top tables, medium-sized tables, but they also have power to them. So we have one currently placed in the egg room, in her room, and we're going to have one placed out here, and we're still looking for where it would be best to place the other 3 of the tables. But it was a very nice donation. Thank you so much to School Specialty and the connection to Ann.
Okay. We'll begin with the administrator reports, and Mr. Hills.
Thank you very much. Just wanted to draw attention to the substitute orientation that we did last week. Mr. Schaefer helped me with that, and we had a nice turnout. It was probably about 25 people that showed up. We had about another 10 that couldn't make it. We continue getting people who have expressed interest in subbing for us. There was a person who called yesterday who is interested in being an aide for us when the times arise. So very happy with where we stand as far as substitutes, especially in relation to other districts. You hear kind of some of the struggles that they're going through, and not only do we have a nice pool to pull from, but we've got really good subs. In fact, there was one of the teachers who was here the other morning when the subs came in for breakfast was mentioning how nice it is to be able to continue teaching or lesson planning for somebody to actually teach the lessons rather than just watching the kids and having to pick pieces up when they come back. So we really have a good group of substitutes to pull from, and it was just nice to have them back in the building the other day.
Mr. Schaefer.
Okay, so I would like to just start today by just doing some staff recognition, if that's okay. I want to take a moment to give a huge shout out to our admin assistants, Brooke Tong and Melissa Olson, and of course our very own Stephen T. For their excellent work in preparation for the school year. I think it goes understated sometimes with how much work and preparation and the hours and the communication. I mean, they are a well-oiled team, that's for sure, a machine. And with the issues with Power School, they just work hard, diligently. They're not complaining about the challenges, and they fight through and to help with our online registration, in-person registration. And, you know, even last night, we had our orientation 6th and 9th grade, and Mrs. Tong and Mrs. Olson are sitting here at 9:15, making sure every family's question is answered and everybody's taken care of, and just their commitment. I don't want it to be understated. I really appreciate what they're doing. And I also want to give a special shout out to Miss Dina Saunders, who is helping with our non-English speaking families, making extra time, hours. This week was her vacation week. She wasn't even supposed to work. She came for the orientation. She's helping those families to get registered. And I mean, when you talk about commitment to excellence and people going above and beyond, I mean, they just deserve this recognition. So I really want to give a huge shout out to them and how much they're appreciated. And And then just quickly, just touching about everyone is kind of seeing that we're doing some staff things with the physics and chemistry position, and that letter is going out, and we're looking forward to meeting with families, and we'll be talking with families at open house. There'll be a time where we can talk about it. And just about 10-15 minutes before coming in here, I was on with a person who talked about coming to do in-person teaching for our physical science, and Paul ironically has a chemistry background, but just cannot commit to it this year. So the calls never stop. The pursuit to find somebody is not stopping, no matter what the result is. So I just want you to know that. And but this lady, of course, is so interesting. She lives in Algoma. I won't say her name, but her husband's a graduate of Sevastopol too. So. Just a crazy connection, and hopefully it'll lead to something that'll help us in that position, because obviously we know ideally we want somebody in that room. But I do feel the person that our kids will be in good hands with the knowledge that's in there, and just wanted to bring that up. So thank you.
Thank you for all your efforts on that.
Yeah.
It was a nice letter that we saw that we have going out to parents that kind of tells them all the steps that you took. Very nice.
Yes.
Mrs. Margraf is not here, and Ethan's not here, but you have those reports in your packet. If there are any questions to them. Superintendent's report.
Thank you. First and foremost, an amazing shout out to our staff as we welcomed 6 new staff members to our district. Dan took the time to give us a bus tour around our entire district. We stopped out at our Eco Lab and just had an opportunity to really connect as a new team. And it's exciting to look forward to the school year. There are excellent credentials, an amazing staff, and also a huge shout out to our mentor teachers who are standing alongside of them this year to support them in the classroom and the things that they're doing. And then I just have to reiterate what our principals have said about our sub-pool. As I was talking to colleagues and I said, last week I was sitting in the lunchroom with 20 subs, and they looked at me and they said, 20 subs? Who has 20 subs in today's world? They are just hard to find. But not only on top of that, every single one of them talked about how the pride of Sevastopol students and staff is what brings them here and wanting to serve our community and our students. So thank you to the subs. If you want to connect and sub, we can always use more subs, so I'll put a plug-in out there for that. But huge shout out to that and the substitutes, and to our administrative team with a warm welcome so that they know the protocols to be able to start the school year off successfully. And then next week is welcome back to our entire staff. So we kick off Monday morning at 7:40. If you want to join us for breakfast board in the lunchroom, that would be wonderful, and we could introduce you to the new staff and to our returning staff. So can't believe the summer is coming to a close. Everybody enjoy that last week. And the first day of school is September 3rd. So that's where we are and what we've been up to.
I don't have anything. We have this seclusion and restraint report which we received. Looks like we don't need to take any action on that. No, just add it for information. Budget report.
Your information has been included in your packet. The adjusting entries have all been done at this point, so we are working on our audit next week, and if you have any questions, please reach out.
Anything for facilities?
Just a couple of pieces. Dan asked for me to shout out to our parents this evening. If you haven't signed up in Power School for bus transportation and your student needs that, please make sure that you do. We do an amazing job of routing our buses so that all students are able to enter on the right side. That's a once in a lifetime in my 35 years that I've ever heard of the ability to do that. So he does an amazing job being able to route our students that way, but we really need your names on our list to be able to do that efficiently. Just a quick update on the summer. As you all know, we've had a wet summer, and we've had a few leaks in our roof that we've had to fix over the summer, and we've also been fixing some of leaks within our heating system. So those two pieces will be done. and ready for us to start in the fall. And then lastly, as you can see, our facilities are clean, crisp, and sparkling for our students and staff to come back. And a shout out to the maintenance crews for making that happen over the summer.
Does Dan want to have a committee meeting for building and grounds anytime soon? Or?
Yes, we're going to get that scheduled.
Okay.
Okay. Then if I can have a motion to move item F under new business, district liability insurance, forward on the new business agenda. So moved. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Then we will turn that over to Superintendent Anderson and our telephone guest.
As I have shared with the board, early on in July, we needed to go out for a new insurance bid to cover our liabilities as a district. M3 is a contract agent that we use to go out to bid and secure the best bids possible for us. And so this evening, I have Nick with us to kind of just give us a summary of what our policies look like and where we are moving for the 24-25 school year. With that, I'll turn it over to you, Nick.
Perfect. Thank you, Randy. Assuming everyone can hear me okay, as she mentioned, I'm the insurance agent on behalf of the school district. In relation to the district's property, historically we have been with a company called CM Region, and this year, in order to support and continue to offer property coverage, we were forced to give them the opportunity to provide them with all lines of coverage from a liability standpoint and workers' compensation standpoint. So we received a bid from them, a very competitive bid, and ultimately what we are proposing to move to action tonight is to move all those lines of coverage to CM Region as a result of the inability for the previous liability and workers' compensation carrier to offer property terms for the district. So we were really forced into an all or nothing kind of situation in relation to the district's coverages. So there are some notable differences from a liability perspective between the two programs, but in order to continue to provide the district with adequate property coverage, we needed to make the decision to allow that bid to happen and propose to quote all of that under one program through one insurance company there. So one piece of consideration from a property standpoint is we have been with CM Region since 2021 when the new addition was put on at the school and has not adjusted the building values to date. So over the course of the last 3 years with inflationary precautions rising, what I would propose as well is that we truly consider increasing the building limit that we have on the policy to get it up to a more true replacement cost perspective. So right now we're at about $240 per square foot to truly replace the building as it stands. I'm currently seeing reconstruction costs in the $300 to $400 per square foot range. So it's just something to consider. From a renewal perspective, we can bind at the $240 replacement cost per square foot as proposed in our summary, but just wanted to make that aware to the district that we will be proposing to move the liability coverages over to CM Region instead of BMC this year, along with some additional property considerations. If there's any questions, I'd be more than willing to answer them.
Yeah. One thing. Kind of a captive audience.
It seems like questions don't matter because it is what it is. I mean, it is what it is, we're stuck with it.
The one, he said, that when is the timeline for future discussion, go from the 240 per square foot to a higher number? I mean, is that for future discussion? Is that what he meant, that we should, it's an awareness and in the future we should start chewing on that? Is that what I heard? Okay, so we don't have to decide today.
Did you hear that, Nick?
I'm sorry, I didn't know.
So the question was, do they need to take action on the conversation around the 240 going up to the 300 for the replacement square footage, or is that something we want to put on the radar for future discussion? And my recommendation for the conversation that the three of us had earlier this week was that that was just, we wanted to make them aware and that we would have the conversation as we move forward.
Correct, yes. So not something specific from an action item tonight in particular, but just something to keep on the radar of the board. That as my understanding of how we are currently insuring the district's property, I would recommend increasing that to make sure that we have enough coverage to rebuild in the event of a catastrophic loss. So it's just something to keep on the radar. I can provide pricing for that to make that increase at a level that you guys are comfortable at, but not something that we would formally move to motion on tonight. Correct.
Anybody else?
Just that I was happy to see the cybersecurity insurance in there, and the sessions that I attended with WASB this summer, that was a big deal. Make sure we have that.
I guess if there isn't anything else, is there a motion to accept the proposed district liability insurance as presented?
Move to approve the insurance package as presented.
Second.
Questions or discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you. We've then got the student Rotary Club proposal. There's a student.
I can speak on that because
okay.
Mindy had a strange thing happen. One of her children's birthday is today. So they're celebrating a child's birthday, so she couldn't come in. But basically, really excited about the Rotary Interact Club because, first of all, there's no cost to Sevastopol or to our district. It's basically an organization or a club where we're bringing in students to offer an opportunity to do service projects. There's going to be 5 different committees within this organization. This is all in the handout. It's going to start with grades 9 through 12, and she's hoping to branch it out to 7th grade down the road. But basically, it's just an opportunity for our students to take pride in their community, our school, the families that occupy our school, other students, and find ways to do major service projects and give back to the community and show that Sevastopol and the great people we have in it are about helping others and a service above self. And I think it's a great organization. I think it's a wonderful opportunity for students. We have a lot of students who are really excited and want to give back. They want to do things for the community. And once again, it's just great for Sevastopol. It just shows we're not, we're a school that's about giving back and helping out. So I'd like to promote that on Mindy's behalf. And the only caveat to this is she'll have to meet once a month. She has a first hour prep, so that kind of works out. So we talked about that in the first semester, and other students would also meet with the Rotary Club and kind of share ideas and what's happening. So all this is laid out in her proposal that I believe is in your packet. So yeah, that's it. Rotary Interact.
Questions? Discussion?
Great opportunity for service.
Yep. Yes, we do.
If there's nothing, would there be a motion?
I'd make a motion to approve the Rotary Club proposal.
Second.
Question and discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Then we have the FFA request for overnight field trip.
I don't know if there was a mix-up on the time, but I can talk about it briefly if you're okay. If you don't want me to, I'm taking a lot of airtime today, so I don't want to.
You're on the roll.
Yeah, but basically what had happened is, so Ann Galecki has a trip to Ireland, and it's already been in place when she was at, she started this last year when she was at Southern Door. And she wanted to offer the opportunity up to any Sevastopol students and family members who would like to go. And if no Sevastopol families want to join, no students want to go on this trip to Ireland, she's still going because she had planned this trip, 2 years ago, so there'll be this next at the summertime, so a full year, so families can, if they want to, budget for the cost. It is a rather, well, I would consider it expensive, but You can reach out to Ms. Glowacki for any extra details. She does have handouts for that. But yes, she was just wanted to offer the opportunity that she created a year ago to our students and families to go to Ireland.
It's in the summer, so no school time is missed.
Yep.
And I missed it, will she have her Southern New York students going with her because they've already been started?
There is, I believe there is 2 students that are going from Southern Door.
So if it's no school time missed, and it's really not a school trip, why is it coming to us?
It is a school.
Well, I think because we weren't quite sure if she needed approval from you to even offer this to our students, because, you know, from a liability standpoint, and making sure that we're covering ourselves.
It's one of our teachers, and they do
I think
fundraisers.
I think, you know, in general, it's probably a great idea. There's a couple of things that concern me about it. It's expensive. It's like $6,000. So they've got 10 months to fundraise $6,000 to go on a trip, which is a hard task on families. We've already got a group fundraising to go on a spring trip, which is the band trip. It's a lot less money. I checked with Tanya. The band trip is for $1,500. So it's a lot less money.
Asking to fundraise for it, are they? I mean, this is just, if somebody wants to go, they can go.
Well, but if they're going to fundraise, we're the Sevastopol FFA, and we're fundraising to go to Ireland. They're attaching Sevastopol's name to it.
Right. Well, we've done it with all our discussions, right, Miley? Valid comment is, at the end of the day, we usually typically settle that, to Jeff's point, if a family wants to send their kid and find a way to resource it and fund it, you know, we're not sanctioning it, we're just saying we understand what's going on. And we're allowing our teacher to be part of it, because throughout the year, I'm sure she'll talk about it in school and stuff like that.
The other thing about the proposal is, and this is looking, next time somebody comes with something, there's not a lot in here about how it directly applies to her curriculum. It says we offer animal science, vet science, forestry, landscaping, and it applies to animal science, vet science, and horticulture, but she hasn't written out how it applies. When you look at the band trip stuff, they're going here and it applies to this, and they're going there and it applies to that. It's real general, not really telling me how going to Ireland would serve animal science, vet science, and horticultural science better than touring some of the larger farms in York County or Kewanee County or Iowa or some of the other states. And that's looking down the road for another group that wants to go to Italy to study whatever.
Woodworking?
How to make pizza. You know, our policy in the past has been that the teacher tell us how this directly applies to your curriculum, how it's going to benefit the students.
It is kind of laid out in the promo brochure, agriculture in Ireland, they've got.
But it doesn't tell me directly attached to Sevastopol's. I'm a stickler on it. It doesn't tell me directly attached to Sevastopol's curriculum.
They're touring farms, they're touring a racehorse operation, gardens.
I guess I mean, not fundraising, right?
Well,
They're saying about fundraising, so I don't see who cares.
I think that was included in the package of the opportunities for scholarships.
There is a fundraising package program.
But I think scholarship, or that aspect of it anyway,
yeah, dairy industry in Ireland is very unique, and I know that York County sponsored last year some farmers, dairy farmers went to Ireland, relatives of mine, and they found it very, interesting, a different concept from dairy farming in the United States. Big,
A lot of sheep.
yeah, it's a very diversified. I think they'd have a great experience over there if they wanted to dish out the money for it.
it's an opportunity. I mean, it is expensive, that I guess maybe is forcing them to do it if the parent can afford it or do it.
Yep.
It's up to them, I guess, but.
Is there a motion?
I would move to approve the Ireland trip as presented.
Second.
questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Nay. Okay. Coach's handbook. Anybody have comments on that?
It's just the inclusion of the non-discriminatory statement. So you approved this in May or June, but we needed to have that, so I wanted to bring it back to the board approved it. That's the only.
Move to approve the 2024-2025 coaches handbook.
Second.
Further questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Sue, anything timely on legislative that we need to hear?
Yes. I had mentioned in my report that I was representing the rural schools on a Zoom conference with Dr. Christopher Saldana from UW-Madison. And it was a very interesting conference talking about the preliminary analysis on the adequacy of school funding. And this is all very preliminary, but there are a lot of people who are involved throughout the state in this. And what they are looking at is what our Constitution says about funding of public schools. And one of the comments made was that our legislators sometimes argue that there isn't a lack of funding, it's just the schools don't know how to spend the money.
This has been brought up before, the Constitution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Constitution talks about reaching proficiency for all students.
Right.
And we're not doing that as a state for all students. And things they talked about were looking at this as an investment, not as spending. We're investing in our young people, we're investing in our society, in our democracy. The legislation has not taken into account the inflation impact in meeting that constitutional directive. Our poverty schools in the state do the worst on the standardized scores. This is highly predictive data. And there are currently many students throughout the state who are not meeting proficiency. And they talked about the inflation gap. $2.8 billion more would erase that inflation gap. So what's going to happen now, there are going to be appeals to the legislature with the upcoming biennial budget, attempts at litigation. One comment was made about shaming the legislators for not following the Constitution. Stressing the economic impact of proficiency. If our kids aren't proficient, that has a direct effect on the economy of our state. And there was also discussion about addressing housing and food insecurity for our students' poverty. So it's very interesting. This was very preliminary, and I will stay involved with it. WASB is involved, WASBO is involved, UW-Madison, Julie Underwood, who is a professor emeritus from UW-Madison, is heading up a lot of this. So some very interesting things. And we'll just keep fighting the good fight for public education. I did get something on my email today about Ohio and their concern about the voucher schools and the amount of money going into the voucher schools and how it really is hurting kids throughout the state of Ohio. So much more to come on that, I'm sure.
So are they digging into, I'm just curious, they're digging into the history and they're going to present some proposed facts which would drive some decision changes? Is that what we're hoping for?
Yes, this is just preliminary.
I mean, because they need to look at our history. Percentage of taxes are way down from what they used to be. When I went to school, the percentage that everyone paid in their taxes was higher than we pay now. I think you guys brought me that data, right? Inflation's a good one.
Yeah.
Proficiency is an issue. Put resources into our proficiency and dive into that. Yeah, my frustration out with you thing is awesome. Is these buzzwords, let's go after, let's fix it. Everyone's been talking about fixing education since I was around, you know? And when they talk proficiency, let's dive into that, like this school is doing, but every school has to do that. If there's a teacher, let's train them better. If it's mental health, let's keep that going. I know I'm wasting my time, and I'm wasting your time, but if they're gonna do something, get the real data, the historical data, and educate our taxpayer that they're paying way less. And you wonder why Wisconsin's way lower on the stats, because we pay way less than we did percentage-wise 25 years ago. I'm sorry, thank you.
No, that's fine.
You're
Right?
Maybe you should get on that committee.
I'm busy.
But you have some passion for it, Dave. I think that is a positive thing.
Yes.
Okay, then we have the resolution authorizing the school district budget to exceed revenue limit for 4 years for non-recurring purposes. And we had that finance meeting on Monday night where Tasha went over everything. With this resolution, the resolution authorizing the school district budget to exceed revenue limit.
Did we cover E?
We're on G.
We missed Eve, is that?
You jumped.
Oh, we missed the adding signatures. Sorry.
The report is in your packet. This is really just a formality. We need to approve the signers as recommended. It would only be one change, and that would be Randy.
Is there a motion then to approve the signature list in bank accounts?
Move to approve adding signature to bank account.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Now we can move on to the referendum. So, be it resolved by the school board of the school district of Sevastopol, County, Wisconsin, that the revenues included in the school district budget be authorized to exceed the revenue limit specified in section 121.91 Wisconsin statutes by $4,250,000 for the 2025-26 school year, by $4,500,000 for the 26-27 school year, by $4,750,000 for the 27-28 school year, and by $4,750,000 for the 2028 to 2029 school year, for non-recurring purposes consisting of maintaining educational programs and paying operational and maintenance expenses. Dated in court of this date, August 21st, 2024. So with that, our levy remains the same as it has, the 12 million, right?
No.
No.
I'll turn it over to Randy to speak. You have your prepared statement.
So the levy will start at 12.1. We would maintain the 12.1 for this school year for 24-25, and then the levy will scale from 12.1 to 13.3. In doing that scale, it will allow us as a school district to maintain our highly qualified staff and competitive salaries and benefits. It'll allow us to maintain our high-quality educational programs, and it'll allow us to maintain our current facilities. And we really have to take this moment to honor our community and say thank you for the historical support that they have provided us for the last over a decade plus. And in that support that they've provided us, we've been able to do and have an excellent academic performance. We perform in the top 3% of the state. That's amazing. When you look at who we are and the resources that we are at 97.9% in academic performance. We have an amazing staff that's dedicated to each and every student and driving towards our supporting principle that says students first all the time. We have successful programs that run the gamut of 4K to post-secondary. We have students graduating and getting ACT scores of perfect and headed to MIT this year, if I remember correctly. Our facilities, take the opportunity to walk around our facilities. They're absolutely incredible. And most importantly, we have been strong stewards of our finances. Our district maintains a clean audit report, and we maintain a high bond rating, which again, just demonstrates the efficiencies that we've created in the system to be able to be successful for our students.
May I add a minor clarification? I think to Lisa's point, you're somewhat correct. The very first year it's the same, but based on many factors and the projections and our history of cost increases, we've realized to go out 4 years, we need to account for the changes and expectations to make sure we can stay with whatever the future may hold. So do you agree with that? Or is there,
This year stays the same.
Yeah.
Next year it
Next year
starts to
goes into
increase.
effect.
Oh, all right, no.
Yeah, next.
25, 26. So if the voters would approve the operating referendum, that levy increases slightly that first year. And based off of the forecast,
Okay. The first year is slightly, okay.
Yeah.
It's, all right.
Fiscal year ends.
Yeah, it's not a huge.
I didn't get into all the numbers.
It's not taking a huge jump.
No, it is not.
So, we would need a motion then to approve this document. This resolution authorizing the school district budget to exceed the limit for 4 years for non-recurring purposes.
I move to approve the authorization of the Sevastopol School District to exceed the revenue limit for 4 years for non-recurring purposes.
Second.
Questions or discussion?
Just for discussion, we will be summarizing some of the key points that drove all this financial analysis, and we'll be passing that out to our community, correct?
so pending board approval of the resolution, we are in the process of building a website, and we will be posting on that website community information sessions that will detail where we've been and where we're going, and then ultimately the tax impact.
Great, I just wanted to make sure anyone listening, if they're paying attention, there's been a lot of meetings, a lot of hard work to get us to this point, and we'll be able to put that information out in kind of a readable format, so thank you for that.
We would then approve the next document, the
We didn't
resolution.
vote. We need to vote.
We didn't vote on it.
We didn't vote.
We need to vote.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you for that. We have that. Then we approve the resolution providing for a referendum election on the question of the approval of a resolution authorizing the school district budget to exceed revenue limit for 4 years for non-recurring purposes. We don't read this whole one, but it's kind of the notice to the community. It gives the referendum election date, providing notice to electors, polling places, election officials, DPI notice, and this will go on the referendum site for anybody that wants to look at it. So is there a motion to approve that?
I make a motion to approve the resolution providing for a referendum election on the question of approval of a resolution authorizing the school district budget to receive revenue limit for 4 years for non-recurring purposes.
Second.
Other questions, further questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? That motion is carried. Mrs. Margraf, you got here a little late. Was there anything you wanted to highlight from your report?
First of all, I'm very sorry.
Sorry.
I don't know how I missed it, but no, I don't know. Any questions about the seclusion and restraint? I know that that was prepared. I prepared that. And then any questions on my board report? The only thing that I would add, if I had the opportunity, is did anyone talk about the data retreat?
We did not.
Okay, we had an amazing data retreat yesterday with about 13 staff members, and it was led by Kim Pencil from DPI, and really did had great discussions, talked about the report card, talked about growth and how that's a priority, and we want that to be a district-wide goal, growing in all areas. High school on their growth, but then also the elementary identified
better growth scores specifically in ELA. We did a deep dive analysis on some of the contributing factors to that and are putting together a game plan to really bring teachers together, inform our teachers, empower them with using the STAR data, which is our new universal screener that's going to be pre-K through 12th grade. A lot of wonderful questions were asked, and I just wanted to highlight, the conversation and the investment of our staff, and with Mr. Hiltz and with Mr. Schaefer. It's really going to go in a positive momentum, and we are meeting again in pencil for what our next step is going to be. It just feels really, really great to identify those academic areas that we know we can do better for kids. And we started that journey yesterday with our staff, and it was fantastic. Yeah, and again, my apologies.
And I'll just piggyback on that. I met with the CISA 7 staff this morning, and they said our team was absolutely incredible and really dug into the data and started to ask the right and tough questions. So it was great.
Without anything being personalized.
Well, that's
Data
what
is
drives
data.
the proficiency.
Exactly.
The data.
And that, it
Great
is,
work.
and that ties exactly into what Sue had said. Not everybody is a proficient, but it is our responsibility to do everything that we possibly can to get every student to be proficient.
Your best.
Yes, so we are on the road, and it feels good to focus on some academics. We will look for a motion to adjourn then, or convene to executive session.
Move to adjourn executive session.
Roll call vote, Keith.
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion carried unanimously. We'll look for a motion then first on the high school volleyball, JV2 volleyball coach.
I make a motion to approve the hiring of Brooker for high school volleyball JV2 coach.
Second.
Questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Then we will look for a motion on.
Can we do them both together or one at a time?
Together.
I move to approve Jennifer Owen and Amber Hansen to support our chemistry and physics online teaching approach.
Second.
Questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Then our next meeting is September 18th. First day of youth service is Monday, if anybody wants to go. 7:30, 7:40. And if there is nothing else, I will look for a motion to adjourn. Move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned at 6:08 PM.